Well, it's been God, since Thunderbolts since I was on this channel. Well, I'm back again. I'm going to report on some news. I'm going to give you some quick reviews for the two biggest movies that just hit theaters throughout the course of July, meaning Superman and the Fantastic Four First Steps. And then after that, I'm going to get into some Spider-Man Brand New Day news, which a ton of that dropped. I can't wait to talk about it. I mean, I got the shirt on, I got the logo, I got Deadpool hat. Doesn't want to do anything, but it's all Marvel related. It's all good. And it's all coming to you right now. Okay, I'm gonna try something new, a new format here because I want to squeeze in everything in this one video, and I don't want to, put out three different ones. Just seems like a waste of time in my opinion. So I'm gonna give you a 1 minute review of Superman and a 1 minute review of Fantastic Four First Steps. I may go over in Fantastic Four because there's much more implications than that, but it's gonna be quick. I'm gonna put 1 minute on the clock for each of them, and you're gonna hear my 1 minute rants about them, and that's it. And I'm gonna talk about Spider-Man stuff the rest of the video. Okay, that's how we're gonna do this. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, tell me. But that's what I'm going with right now. Okay. All right, here we go with the first one. Fantastic Four First Steps. 1 minute on the clock, and go. This is by far the best interpretation of Fantastic Four. If you're talking about the comics accurate everything, I think the casting was perfect. Pedro Pascal, as oversaturated and as overcast as he is in everything, knocked it out of the park as Reed Richards. I think he was actually probably the best Richard we've had on screen. Bar is not super high, but either way, every scene he was talking about how he's kind of this aloof genius. He knows everything, but sometimes knows nothing. Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm was sensational. Stole the movie for me. She embodied that character. She's such a mother in the Marvel Universe, and the Marvel Universe has a ton of mothers, and she's one of them now, and it's fantastic. Joseph Quinn as Johnny Storm was way better than Chris Evans ever was, because not only is he like a ladies' man, a flirt, something they established in the movie, but he's also smart in his own right. His arc throughout the movie is him going on his own journey, learning something to help them with the space crisis is happening. And Evan Moss Backrack as the Thing was great as well. I feel like some of his scenes were cut because there's a little squished in there, but either way, I thought the story was good. It's so simple. You don't need to know anything prior to MCU to understand this movie. Galactus was amazing, so much better than the Space Cloud we got in 2007. Silver Surfer Shia LaBeouf was amazing. Her effects were insane. You could see Johnny's face when he goes to chase her. It's insane. She looks so good, and Julia Gardner did a great job as that character. Galactus again, Ralph Ineson, I think is pronounced his name. He was great, and it told a great story. I felt for this family. I want to see more of them. I can't wait to see them in Doomsday. And I saw it twice in theaters, so it's got my stamp of approval. And I know that was way more than a minute, but I had a little bit more to talk about, so I'll be quick in the next one, I promise. All right, next review, Superman 2025. 1 minute on the clock. Let's go. Okay. I was not a big fan of this movie. I love James Gunn's work. I love every single Guardians movie. I think they're all amazing. I love his Suicide Squad. That's incredible. This just didn't hit for me. I think David Cornsweet and Rachel Brosnahan are great as Clark and Lois. I think they really have good chemistry, and they embody the characters pretty well. But for me, the rest of the movie was kind of a mess. Like, they did a lot of things that I'm questionable of, especially the change to his origin with his parents. The Jor-El thing, it did not hit with me, and a lot of the story kind of didn't gel together. Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor was fine. Listen, I'm not a Snyder cultist like most people are on the internet, but I'm just saying, Man of Steel to me felt like it had more weight, felt like it was acted better, felt like it was written better, and people are going to get on me for that, but I've been saying that since I saw it, and maybe I need to see it again to get some things, and I have no problem with Superman being a little goofy. He doesn't have to be super serious and dark all the time. It's just this interpretation of it did not do well for me visually. I think the effects weren't that great. Krypto was fun and funny, but at times a little annoying and kind of just there, especially at the end. There's like a critical, pivotal moment where Lex Luthor is giving a very good speech at Superman, and Krypto just comes in and takes him out. And that kind of deflates the whole thing for me. So, not a home run in the new DC's first entry. And I like David Cornsweet, so I want to see him back as Superman, but I think it just needed to be tweaked a little bit. Like, the story was really what the most thing was for me. Like, it felt like things just kind of happened, and they loosely tied together, and I don't know. Not for me, does not get my good review, and I honestly just didn't like it. I'm sorry to say, I'm very disappointed I don't like that. So I hope going forward, the next DC projects, whatever they are better than this. Like the Batman, not the Batman that James Gunn's making, not the Batman Part 2. But, I hope that's better, and I hope it all gels together in a universe that we can all enjoy. And that was my Superman review, and definitely over a minute, but close enough. All right, now into the nitty-gritty of what I want to talk about. And I know I talked really fast in those last few reviews. I'm going to try to slow down. But I got a lot of thoughts, and I'm kind of just processing as I'm saying them to you. But it is a brand new day, folks. The fourth Tom Holland installment of Spider-Man is upon us. They just started filming the other day. There were set photos released already, and they released pictures of the suit, a little video reveal with Tom Holland himself. Oh, the suit is perfect. It's probably the best screen Spider-Man suit since we had since Sam Raimi's Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire. But even so, because of No Way Home, it feels like this suit is an homage to both his previous predecessors in Andrew and Tobey, and it's like a mix of both of them. And just everything about this movie sounds like it's going to be firing on all cylinders. I cannot wait to dive in. There's a lot to talk about, and a lot of how it ties into the MCU and all of that. And really, I'm just going to talk about how popular Spider-Man is, because just on the social media alone, the impressions and the views and the numbers that just a suit reveal got, not even like a trailer or anything or a poster, a suit reveal got was insane. It's Spider-Man is so far above every other superhero in my opinion, and it's just that might be the only thing that Marvel has that can really make $1 billion anymore. I mean, No Way Home literally came out in December of 2021, which was kind of still prime-ish COVID, and they made $1 billion without China. That's crazy numbers, and it's not going to change anytime soon. That's because people love Spider-Man. The Spider-Man media has been so good to us these past, I don't know, 5-6 years with video games, TV shows, movies especially, and just like look behind me. The Spider-Verse movies are awesome, and Tom Holland's whole trilogy is fantastic. I'm just rewatching. I just watched Homecoming. I haven't seen it in a few years. Still holds up. I love everything about it. It's so quintessentially Spider-Man. Like, I love every iteration of Spider-Man. I really do. Like, Amazing Spider-Man 2 is probably my least favorite, but even then, Andrew Garfield's still great. His suit looks amazing. The story is but, I like Gwen. It's all that. But seeing No Way Home really just gelled them all together for one to me, and I can't see Spider-Man played by any three other actors. It's them, and I'm very happy Tom Holland is getting our first fourth Spider-Man movie in any person's universe or cycle of films, and it's going to be great. Other things about Spider-Man Brand New Day that are really exciting that got confirmed last week were that Bruce Banner, Hulk, Mark Ruffalo is coming back in this movie. In what role, I do not know. And I think this was confirmed a while ago, but Jon Bernthal as the Punisher from Daredevil Born Again, which is now the current MCU canon show for Daredevil / the Punisher. And he's getting like a special presentation early next year, I think, which could tie into Spider-Man Brand New Day. Either way, both characters are really interesting to include in a Spider-Man story, mainly because the Spider-Man that we now know, Tom Holland's Spider-Man, is in a world where nobody knows who Peter Parker is. Like, at the end of No Way Home, wiped his entire slate clean, which leaves a lot of like open doors for like processing his grief, both of which are things that Frank Castle and Bruce Banner both know how to deal with, because Bruce Banner got turned into a monster and he has to very carefully manage his anger. Now, I know now that he's Smart Hulk. I feel like they'll undo this, though, especially because of who the villain might be. And Punisher, we saw a little bit in Daredevil. He still holds on to that grief every chance he gets. He hears the cries of his family dying, and he could do nothing to stop it. So I'm curious what the dynamic will be between him and Spider-Man. Spider-Man maybe confiding inside of Frank to get some advice on how to deal with things in life, how to move on. And that's not even counting whoever else Peter meets. Zendaya and seemingly Jacob Batalon as MJ and Ned are in this, but I'm pretty sure they're not gonna. I would be shocked and very disappointed if they undid everything No Way Home did, with forgetting who Peter Parker is. I think that would just be a huge slap in the face to everything that movie did. So I think they'll be in it in like spurts, maybe like at the end or in the beginning, not in a serious way. Maybe by serious, I mean not an integral piece of the plot. If they are, I hope there's a good reason for it. But, we know Sadie Sink has been cast in this thing. Could she be redheaded Gwen Stacy or something like that? I mean, I doubt she's Mary Jane because Michelle Jones, Zendaya's MJ is kind of that role already. So I don't think they're going to just redo that again. And then that leaves question of like, is he going to be in college? He was taking his GED at the end of No Way Home, so we can assume he's continuing his education. Would he have met a Dr. Connors? Would he have met a Harry Osborn? And if there's a Harry Osborn, it's going to be a Norman Osborn. So, that opens that whole door. I hope this opens the next chapter of Spidey lore, because, like I said, in these three movies, in Homecoming, Far From Home, and No Way Home, I think it was so genius that it was proto Peter Parker. It was the Spider-Man origin story spread over 3 movies, minus the origin stuff of him getting bit by the spider and Uncle Ben dying, and then they turned that into Aunt May giving him the great power speech, and Tony Stark was his Uncle Ben, I guess, that we saw at least. And it was really cool how he turned into the Spider-Man we all know and love, who's poor, who's broke, who's listening to police scanners. That's a big thing. I hope there's like a police captain in this, like a Yuri Watanabe from the games would be cool. Some kind of attachment to the police. His, for lack of a better term, his Commissioner Gordon. But yeah, those two characters in it, like I don't want this to be like a huge team up thing. I hope it's really still Spider-Man centric. But like I'm not gonna say no to seeing more John Bernthal as Punisher. And if Hulk is like back and done well, like again, I'm not the biggest fan of the Smart Hulk. At the time when Endgame came out, I thought it was cool, that was cute. And then She-Hulk was like, and it just like I miss Savage Hulk. Like seeing Red Hulk in Brave New World actually made me miss the Hulk a lot more. And I really hope they bring him back. So which brings me to my next point. Who's the villain going to be? So now, if you played the Spider-Man PS4 video games, PS5 remaster, whatever, you know how important the villain of Mr. Negative is, Martin Lee. And I think in this movie, it could tie in really well because in No Way Home, we saw Aunt May, who's now dead. She was at the Feast Center, and in the video game, Martin Lee is like kind of the leader of that group, of that shelter. So if he is the one that kind of stepped in May's place, and Peter unknowingly, nobody knows who he is, so he comes in, tries to help, just to honor May's memory. If he and Peter have some kind of relationship and ends up he turns into Mr. Negative, and then Mr. Negative could probably maybe he meets Bruce Banner somehow and uses his negative powers to bring Savage Hulk back. That'd be sick. I want that so bad. That'd be awesome. I think that would be really cool because then you got Spider-Man fighting the Hulk, and I don't know how Punisher's gonna fight the Hulk. I'll to get some like a tank or something. I don't know what, but yeah, that'd be cool. And I know we all want this to be street level. I still think there's a way to do it where it can be street level, even if you got the Hulk in there. I mean, Punisher is born on the streets, right? So even if he's there, it's fine. But like Hulk, I'm worried about. But like, because I don't need him rampaging through Manhattan again, and Spider-Man trying to stop him that way. I think there's got to be more to it. I think Mr. Negative has to be the main villain of this, and has to be some kind of rich, villainous thing going on, some rich connection to Peter Parker. Also confirmed was, I just rewatched Spider-Man Homecoming after I heard this, that Mac Gargan Scorpion is going to be back at the end of this, from the end of Spider-Man No Way Home. He's the criminal that it meets Adrian Toomes, Michael Keaton in prison. Mac Gargan, aka the Scorpion, who I'm sorry, I forgot the actor's name. I think it's Michael Madsen, and or something like that. But either way, that's exciting because it's another new villain from Spidey lore. His rogues gallery is probably second only to Batman, so he's got a ton of good villains, and we saw a bunch of them in No Way Home, unfortunately. But I always wondered if he's gonna get his own versions of these. But we've never seen a Scorpion in live action, so that's kind of cool. That could be good if they do it in a good way. Like I don't know if they're gonna go full green mech suit, giant tail, and all that because he doesn't seem like the kind of guy that would get dressed up like that. But who knows? It could be cool. But again, I'm way into just adding more to Spider-Man lore because, as we know, this Spider-Man spent his entire origin just being part of the Avengers and was looped into everything MCU related. So now this is his chance, while the MCU is kind of doing with this thing, and we just kind of focus on Spider-Man related stuff. We do get a Mary Jane, we definitely get a Harry, we get a Gwen, maybe we get all these other characters that I want to see in, and then let's not even talk about the symbiote stuff. Like again, Venom 3, I'm not really sure if it paid off the No Way Home ending because it doesn't really make much sense that I don't know, it opens on them scooping up that little goop that was on the bar, but he left that in the MCU, so are they gonna continue that plot point or what? I don't know. I hope they do because I want to see Tom Holland's interpretation of the black suit Spider-Man. That'd be sick, as long as it's not dancing to jazz riffs and all that. That'd be weird, but it does make me laugh. I love you, Spider-Man 3. I really do. But yeah, so I hope all this news that broke and everything. We're seeing all set photos and videos. All looks amazing. The suit, we only saw the part of the suit that was officially released, but then the set photos come out. The mask looks fantastic. He's still got the black around the eyes, which I love. It's his kind of trademark thing, but it's clearly homemade. It's clearly an homage to his two Spider brothers. I'm gonna call them Peter 2 and Peter 3. Yeah, Peter 2 and Peter 3. I'll forever love them, and I think that tying them into the suit just makes it amazing. And especially if they do come back in Secret Wars or something, it'll be cool to see them all dressed up like that. So that'd be sick. Yeah, so this Spider-Man Brand New Day, it truly does feel like a brand new day, and I hope it has potential to be like GOAT Spider-Man movie. And again, it's be tough to top No Way Home in my opinion, which is my favorite. People still say Spider-Man 2 is the best, but No Way Home, I saw that 4 times in theater. I love that movie so much, and the fact that we're just getting more just warms my freaking heart, man. Now to tie back around into Fantastic Four stuff. So now in regular MCU, where we're going for Doomsday and Secret Wars. So at the end of Thunderbolts, what do we see? The post-credit scene in that movie was the new Avengers, who were the former Thunderbolts, are now the Avengers now, at least labeled as such. Bucky, Yelena, Red Guardian, Ghost, Bob, and Bob and John Walker, U.S. agent. So that's your Avenger team. And then they see the Fantastic Four ship entering their universe or from space or whatever. And then that led me to believe that in Fantastic Four, I thought their world was going to get completely nuked. I thought like Galactus was going to eat it, and then Reed Richards at the last minute had to choose between saving the Earth or dying with their planet or leaving with their kid and the rest of the team. I thought that was going to happen. That didn't happen. Spoiler alert: that did not happen. They don't defeat Galactus. They kind of stall him rather than actually defeat him, which I was fine with because I kind of liked the world they were living in, but I just kind of thought it was going to be a one-off thing that would just like, but I mean, it's fine they didn't. So, Galactus is still out there. He can come back whenever. So I'm wondering if, that universe will come back as maybe the main universe that we're living in post Secret Wars, if they do this reboot thing that they're saying they're doing. Either way, before we get to any of that, and then the post-credit scene, the mid-credit scene of Fantastic Four was Doctor Doom confronting Franklin Richards, the baby in the movie. It's 4 years after the movie happens, and you see Sue coming back to see Franklin. You see Doctor Doom in the cave just sitting there, and it looks like Franklin's grabbing his face. So, and Franklin's super powerful. He's like a reality warper of some sort. So I'm wondering if that has anything to do with him looking like Iron Man, because that's going to tie in somehow, right? So I'm curious how that's actually going to go down. But how does this go to Spider-Man? So when I came out of the theater of Fantastic Four, I was like, wow, we don't have any Marvel stuff till next Christmas. I actually forgot Spider-Man was even coming out. That's how stupid I am. But then I remember Spider-Man is the next big thing, and that's a year from now, pretty much. So the end of July of next year. So from now till then, we got nothing. Maybe a couple shows here and there, but nothing that should actually matter. So question is, how much of Brand New Day is going to be Doomsday related? A lot of day related titles. But so is because it's going to take, I think it takes place, I thought they said it took place in between Doomsday and Secret Wars, but now since the release dates are flip-flopped with Spider-Man not coming out first and Doomsday not till Christmas of that year, what's going to happen? So if we manage to get, maybe what I would want to happen, and maybe what I think happens if they course corrected, is like the very, very end of Brand New Day. You do the Spider-Man story, you do everything that people want from the Spider-Man movie, and it's perfect. It's a great Spider-Man movie. It's a sole Spider-Man movie. Sure, with other characters, but it's mainly Spider-Man. He learns his lesson, whatever. And at the end of that, something happens Doctor Doom related. He comes to the MCU, or we see Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four meet, or they go recruit Spider-Man. Or maybe Sam recruits Spider-Man, Captain America. Something like that has to be the connective tissue, because we go from Spider-Man to Doomsday. There's nothing. Again, it feels very, very wishy-washy of what we're actually going to see. Like, we know a few things about Doomsday. We know part of the cast. We know the X-Men are in it, the original X-Men. So how they tie in. Again, we have to assume based on the ending of Fantastic Four that Doctor Doom is going to kidnap this kid, and he's going to travel the multiverse to maybe collect anchor beings. That concept was introduced in Deadpool Wolverine for a reason, right? So maybe Franklin Richards is the anchor being of that universe. He has to come here to get our anchor being, which maybe could be Spider-Man, or if it wasn't Tony Stark, I don't know. It likely would have been Tony Stark, considering he saved the entire world. But either way, I don't know what Dr. Doom's motives are, because we don't know anything about his character or his motivation. We only know that he's being played by Robert Downey Jr., and we know that him looking like Robert Downey Jr. is going to play into it for looking like Tony Stark. So I'm confused. Not really sure where we're going to go.
New mask. Same task.
Kevin Feige has my trust. He really does. He has not led me astray yet. I'm worried, box office wise, but that's not really the point in the story of the main MCU thing. So it's not really a concern of mine. But I want it to remain focused. I want it to be good. I want it to be worth it. Because if this is a train wreck, if they plan to reboot anyway, then we're gonna have to get these next two Avengers out and then just go from there. Secret Wars could have literally everybody who's ever been in a Marvel associated film since it began in it. So who the fuck knows? It's a lot going on. I've loved the last two MCU projects. Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four were really great. Some of the best they put out probably since No Way Home, which is so hard, unfortunate to say. Guardians 3 I love. So, but they were so 2022, 2023 Marvel was so hit and miss, so much oversaturation with 1 billion shows and subpar movies. It was a huge mess. Ant-Man legitimately may have almost killed the whole franchise because it was so bad. That's definitely the worst Marvel movie. Like Thor: Dark World is so much better than that, and you can't even tell me otherwise. But yeah, so I mean, how Spider-Man is a tie in Doomsday, I'm not really sure. I hope it's Spider-Man should really be the one of the main characters in Doomsday and Secret Wars, because we know he at this point in time, he's the one we've been with the longest, or maybe the most. Like I said this in another video, the longest tenured MCU character still standing is either technically Rhodey or Bucky. It's one of those two, and those two aren't going to lead the Avengers, right? So not against this threat, but I don't know. It should be Tom Holland Spider-Man. He's the guy. He's our guy, and I cannot wait for his new movie. And I hope it connects to Doomsday well. Or if it doesn't at all, I'd be shocked, but it probably should. Though Sony has a track record of not doing very great post-credit scenes, so we'll see. But either way, the point of this video was to hype up Spider-Man Brand New Day. And like I mentioned before, with all the social media things on just a suit reveal alone and set pictures and stuff, Spider-Man, like, people claim that the big three of superheroes is Batman, Superman, and Spider-Man. While that is probably true, because they've all been around a long last time and have so many iterations, probably more than anyone else, Batman and Superman do not nearly move the like social media or people or anything as Spider-Man does. He is such a level above, and it could be a fair comparison in some ways, but movie-wise, I don't think they're never going to beat Spider-Man. There's just no way. Like I said, No Way Home made $1 billion in a time where people were not going to movies. We weren't going anywhere, let alone the movies. And they didn't even have all the markets. So, and a new Superman made money, didn't make $1 billion. And the Batman also came out in a time where people weren't going to movies that much, in the beginning of 2022, did good money, but went to Max a month later anyway. So it doesn't really matter. Point is, Spider-Man is so leaps and bounds ahead of Superman and Batman. And I love Batman. And I like Superman. Spider-Man's on their level. He is the one. He is the guy. And honestly, to me, he's the most relatable superhero. Yes, nobody has superpowers. Nobody has spider powers, unfortunately, in this real world. But to me, he's the most relatable. Always has been. He's the best to make edits for. His lore is just so good. The lesson of with great power comes great responsibility is so relatable in every iteration it says. Especially in the one in Civil War. That quote's fantastic too. Just Spider-Man, he's just the best, and I'm very happy we're getting more of him, because honestly, I don't know if I'll ever get tired of him. It's like, if people want more Spider-Man, he's the only superhero I think that's not been more oversaturated. Maybe when Amazing Spider-Man 2 came out, it felt that way a little bit, but even then, I just don't think anyone can match him. And, I'm real happy what we're going to see next year. I hope it's a banger, and I hope to God does not get delayed. So, let's all pray, and let's all get hyped, because it is a brand new day. Okay, thanks for watching. I hope you liked what I had to say. I know it's been forever. I'm so inconsistent with this channel. I threw up an edit of Thunderbolts with Like a Prayer. Please watch that. I think it's really good. And I love doing edits of that. If you have any other heroes that you think would fit that song, it's literally the ending of Deadpool & Wolverine, the climax of that, just with that song, Like a Prayer, mixed with scenes from anywhere else. This was mostly Thunderbolts related, so, and I made the Spider-Man one. Spider-Man 1 is my favorite, of course, and Iron Man 1's really good too. But thank you for watching. I'll try to be more consistent with this channel. I really want to get going. It's just things keep piling up, and it's just whatever. So thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. I've been Joe, and this has been Wrestling with Movies.